I think it's a tough day for some Detroit Lions fans. Foxy, so Frank Ragnow, all-pro, unbelievable center for the Detroit Lions, a centerpiece for what this team is and how he sets the tone for everybody. Just an absolute road grader. He decides today, comes out, we hear that he is officially retiring after 7 years in the NFL. Foxy, why don't you tell the people that aren't as diehard Lions fans as you are, what this guy meant to the team and what his production on the field and also what he brings off the field?
Yeah, Frank Ragnow is the definition of Detroit football. He's gritty. He's tough, great teammate. Fans loved him. He played through injury. I'm pretty sure one year he had a broken throat. Last year he had a torn pec. Most guys would have been out for weeks. He played right through it, didn't miss a single game. The guy was everything you want, not only in a football player, but in the trenches. And Detroit fans love him especially because he was there when we sucked. Okay, he was there when this team couldn't find ways to win. He was there when we were the same old Lions, and he helped us go from that. And MCDC gets hired, and he builds the brand new Lions. I am thankful and grateful for what Frank Ragnow did for us, and I'm just glad he got to see success. I'm glad he got to see what Detroit was like, and the fans were like before and after how good we got. So thank you, Frank. This is a bummer. Only 29 years old. So, and we drafted a guy in the second round this year, Tate Ratledge, out of Georgia. He has the mullet. I'm sure you've seen him on the internet.
Oh, yeah. He's
going to be the guy that might come in and fill in for center. So we'll see if he can do that. But, yeah, we're going to miss Frank Ragnow a lot.
Yeah, the NFL is obviously going to miss Ragnow, old-school, throwback-type player, road grader, the kind of offensive lineman you want. Now, Ratledge, though, Tone, I've been hearing he's been taking first-team reps at center throughout OTAs so far for this Lions team.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he anchored that Georgia offensive line that was very, very good for a long time. And then he had a great combine, not only with the mullet flowing, but also, like, testing off the charts. So he went in the second round, and, you know, there's a lot of great second-round centers. But as far as, like, odds are concerned, it hasn't changed anything for the Lions just yet. They're still favorites to win the NFC North. They're second in the NFC to win the NFC behind the Eagles. Their over-under is 10.5. So even with...
What are you taking? You taking over-under?
I haven't looked at the schedule yet, to be honest.
It's very tough.
See,
it's incredibly tough.
I haven't dove into it yet, but there's been a lot of turnover, not only, you know, on the offensive line, but now, you know, both coordinators are gone. Aaron Glenn.
That's the question.
And what's his name? Chicago.
Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson. Thank you very much. So, like, with that turnover, I mean, it could be a step back. I mean, they're still favored, or not favored. They're still, the win total is 10.5 games. They don't think they're going to be the old Lions, but there's definitely some change up in Detroit. But as long as MCDC is under the helm, they're going to be good to go.
I suppose they may have seen this coming because they you know, drafted Ratledge. But Foxy, like for you, like is this out of nowhere? Or did you have any idea that this might be coming?
So Frank wasn't at camp, and everyone thought it was a contract thing. So they all thought he wanted more money. One of the best centers in the league, deservedly so. And then when this news comes out that he retires, everyone's like, okay, it had nothing to do with that. And then also in years past, because of his injury history, there has been some talks of him retiring early. Did I expect it to happen this year when this team is so good and can win a Super Bowl? Absolutely not. But in his Instagram post, he talks about how he wishes he could play. He just literally has to listen to his body, prioritize his health, and he just can't do it. So it must be pretty bad.
And the fact that he says in the very first line of that these past couple of months have been very trying for him. So he didn't go into the offseason, I'm sure, planning on retiring, but he probably thought, okay, I need to find a way to get this. I don't know exactly what the injury was that put him over the top where he wasn't unable to play. Do we know? I mean, when you look at his list of injuries and it says fractured throat.
So many injuries.
Like, come on now, that's unbelievable.
Well, he said in the thing, too, he's like, I'd like to say that my body feels okay, but it doesn't. You know, like, so he just must be, like, you know, hurting everywhere.
Yeah, the fact that he thought he could kind of fight through it or rehab through all this stuff. I guess it's probably so many things that just add up on top of each other. Like, okay, if I fix this, if I get my knee feeling good, doesn't matter, my back sucks. If I get my back fixed, my throat, I got a fractured throat he's still trying to rehab, I would imagine.
Do you still think the Lions should be the favorites in the NFC North?
Are they the favorites in NFC North?
They are. The sports books have them there, and obviously they have the questions at the corner positions. The Vikings have a new quarterback question. The Bears have a new coach question. The Packers, they're probably the team with the least amount of questions, I assume.
Receiver still, probably. I mean, that was like the bit. I mean, I know they added Matthew Golden, but that was kind of the whole thing last year. The receivers kind of underperformed. And then, you know, Love still needs to make that next step and kind of perform like a $55 million a year quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, I get the biggest question for me, Tom, would be the fact that the Lions replaced both their coordinators. I mean, that's what happens to great, especially teams that go from not good to becoming like a stable team that you can count on most likely making the playoffs and making a run, like they're going to pilfer your roster, they're going to take your coaches, and they're going to take some free agents away from you that are going to sign with other teams. So how do you find a way to have consistent success?
Well, and like I don't know about the defensive side. Obviously, they've drafted very well, but are we sure Hutch is completely back too? You know, that's a
he says he is.
McNeil as well. McNeil tore his ACL late in the season. That's going to be a problem.
Yeah, but even with the ACL, I feel like the ACL has become more of a common thing to the point where you can come back and basically be what you were. Like that leg was so bad. I feel like I at least forgot about it till. He came back and had that little sprint workout thing, and then you kind of saw the clips coming back of when it really happened. That was terrible. Have you ever played with anyone who's had an injury like that where, I guess when you were playing, there's a chance that would actually end a career.
Yeah.
It could.
It feels like, the Dak injury was just as bad and same field, but not a cramp as well. But it does feel as though if Hutch – it doesn't come back 100%, and then maybe J.J. McCarthy is great, then the Vikings are kind of in the front seat of the North. But with to Tony's point, MCDC is still there, and MCDC kind of starts and finishes that culture. And they, Ragnow is unbelievable. Penei Sewell is still the best lineman on that O-line, so I feel like no matter what, the Lions are still kind of that team to beat, but that's damn near the best division in the entire NFL.
Yeah, we're going to be watching early on, I think, in the season to see, hey, what does this offense look like without Ben Johnson at the helm or, calling the plays? What's the defense look like when Kelvin Shepard gets named defensive coordinator? Mm-hmm. Are they still the same team? But, yeah, you're a product of your success. You're good. They're going to take your coaches. That's what they do.
Yeah. Do I expect them to go 15-2 again? Absolutely not. The schedule is much more difficult. But new offensive coordinator Johnny Morton basically said, I'm not changing anything here. I might add a couple of wrinkles, but the offense is going to look the same. And at the end of the day, as long as that O-line's blocking and you can pound the rock, we'll be just fine.
For Shepard, he's in-house. Is Johnny Moe in-house?
No, but he has history with MCDC. I believe Johnny Moe came from the Broncos last year.
Oh, yeah, there it is. How much easier is it for Detroit because they just hired Shepard, who was linebackers coach, I think? Yeah. Who's already inside the building.
Yeah, he's a good player himself as well. It works. It can work all different ways. It can not work all different ways, whether you're hiring in-house or not. But for the players on that team, I think when you hire from within and you don't have to change the scheme, it definitely cuts out some of the garbage of a new guy coming in with new terminology. It's just terminology. Like everyone kind of runs similar things. I'm sure you've heard it, but it's like learning a different language. When another playbook comes in, we used to call this Bama. Now it's called Tulsa. Like things like that. Just one word, little situations like that.
You would assume at the very least too that they won't get snake bit by injuries defensively like they did last year. I mean, like that. You'd
hope. I mean, sometimes
like
it's
15,
just luck.
16 guys. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like this year, you would expect that to kind of go the other direction. I mean, I suppose it's possible it happens again, but I don't think that they're going to be losing, 8 starters.
I believe it was
starters.
21 guys on IR.
Yeah,
just
crazy.
on the defensive side. So
what is that? I'm sure they sit there and have like a self-scout and they study what made this year so different.
Probably
Why did so many dudes get hurt? You think it was?
MCDC
Maybe not enough up
too hard.
Maybe not enough up downs.
I don't know.
They don't want to hear that. Any Lions player don't want to hear that right now. They're pissed. They're pissed at me probably.